You know, as much as I talk, I thought for sure that I've told my story somewhere on video. My story of how I was diagnosed with MS. Um, so it was July of 1999. Today's 2018. Wow. Um, I was at work. Um, I was working for a credit card company, all dressed in my business suit, nylons, whatever. I was 25 years old, and um, a girlfriend of mine and I were goofing around in the hall. She kept kicking the back of my knee. Um, I don't know, kids, the kids. Anyway, she was kicking the back of my knee, trying to make me trip, and I sidestepped it several times. Um, One time I didn't make it, and I went down to my knees and tore my nylons, smacked her. Okay, I'm going to get you back because we were allowed to do that. Um, we didn't have all the things like sexual harassment, etc., that people are plagued with now. So I composed myself, cleaned up, went back to work. Within an hour, these fingers, I think it was just these two, on my left hand started going numb. And I thought maybe I had landed on those or something as well. Um, and I just kind of shook it off. You're invincible. I'm 25. Um, anyway, later that day, um, my whole hand started going numb. Um, the next day, I woke up and it felt like somebody had tied a band here, and all of this was numb. When I mean numb, it's more like the pins and needles if you sit on your foot and it falls asleep. Um, when you start to get feeling back, it's just, or like I was wearing gloves at the same time. It was weird. So I let a day go by, whatever. I was numb to here, just my left arm. Oh my goodness, am I having a stroke? What is happening to me? I called the doctor and explained what happened. Um, I think it just took a couple days or something. She says, "Okay, we want you to come in for an MRI. Maybe you hurt your back, something like that." Um, a little bit more time passed, and my chest started going numb. Um, and it was only the left side of my body. Uh, what? Of all the things I've ever done to myself, why is this happening? From falling? Um, anyway, the doctor moved up my appointment. I went in and had three MRIs back to back. Oh my God. And I didn't know I was claustrophobic. Very scary, very scary for me. Um, they really are not that big of a deal, but not understanding what's happening to you and being in a tube for 3 hours, it wasn't fun. So anyway, I had these MRIs, and then the doctor says we need you to come back in. We want to do an evoked response test. What is that? I don't know what you're talking about. Um, I remember them putting an electrical ground on my arm and using something. Um, it didn't hurt like shocking, but to test my nerve pulses, my fingers were going like this, that they were making them do, and I wasn't. That was very weird. Um, anyway, within a week's worth of time, um, I had an answer. The doctor called me, and it happened to be my birthday, my 26th birthday. Um, says, "Come on in. We want to go over some results." And the doctor walked in the room, and she brought a nurse with her, which was weird. Um, I don't know. You just knew something was bad. And she said, "Grace, you've got MS." Speechless. No. Um, no. For me, it was terrible. Remember, this is 20 years ago. The internet is a new thing. There wasn't a lot of information out there. Um, what there was for me is a family history. Um, my father has two cousins that had MS. Um, I watched them as a kid. I watched them, and I remember thinking that they were drunk. Um, I remember thinking they were faking it because one day they were okay and the next they weren't. Um, Nothing I'm proud to admit now. I am going to say it's because I was a kid. Well, and because I didn't get it. Um, anyway, I say I had two cousins. They've since passed away. Um, no, MS is not a death sentence. For them, it was. Um, they didn't have the drugs. They didn't have the treatment. They didn't have the information that they have now. Um, I remember going to a nursing home and watching my female cousin with a feeding tube, and something holding her neck upright, and being in a wheelchair. And I was mad. This is not happening to me. What the hell did I do to deserve this? Um, mad doesn't even begin to describe it. Why me? Um, you know what? If it's gonna kill me, I'm gonna make every last second of my life count. Um, I handled it really poorly. I think I probably spent the first year of my life drunk. Um, Maybe suicidal drunk. Um, I didn't want to feel it. Um, I didn't want that to be me. Again, looking back, bad choice. Really, really bad choice. Um, anyway, so the first year, and a lot more tests, even though they had a diagnosis of MS, they hesitated to label me that way. Um, Once you have a diagnosis of MS and it's public knowledge, good luck getting life insurance. Um, and the insurance laws that keep changing. Are they going to cover you? At that point, pre-existing conditions weren't covered, so they didn't want to put it in my chart. Um, so anyway, I had a spinal tap. I've had visual fields done. Um, I don't even remember what else. Um, the first year, I think I had 3 relapses, and their go-to drug at the time was Salmeterol, or prednisone. Um, and each time that something would happen, I would go on steroids and then it would go away. Um, I would get most of the feeling back or function back, um, but there was always something residual. So after the first year, I was referred to a neurologist. Yeah, it was my primary care doctor that was handling all this. Um, this guy was a jerk. He pushed a wheelchair from his side of the desk to me and told me that I might want to start getting used to that. Are you fucking kidding me? Um, he handed me 3 boxes. They were like this size boxes. Each contained a videotape with information about the ABC drugs of MS, which is all they had. Avonex, beta-sarin, and Copaxone. Sent me home with the boxes, which again were videotapes, not CDs, not jump drives, not the internet. And so you need to start doing this. Oh, okay. Um, I start alphabetical order. I opened the A box, and needle's probably this long, but being terrified of needles, the needle was this long. Nope, not happening. Threw that one aside. The B box was beta-sarin. It's a subcutaneous needle, which is about maybe that long. Again, still a needle, not liking this. You were supposed to do a shot every other night, and that was supposed to slow the progression of MS. Okay, yeah, right. I read it and I pushed that one aside. Copaxone, same size needle as beta-sarin, but it was every night. No, 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 no. And that's how I made my decision. That's what there was. So I had bad experiences of seeing the worst of what could happen to MS, which again is if you do nothing. Um, Shitty doctor. Yay for a quick diagnosis. Um, yeah, it's a different world. It's a different time. Um, there's so much information available. Um, I wanted to tell my story about how I was diagnosed before I go on to preach about how being positive does help. Um, Talking about all of the things that I've dealt with about MS. Um, I also want to tell you at my worst, um, it was 2009. I was in a wheelchair. I had a, well, permanent at the time, Foley catheter. Um, my digestive system wasn't working. Um, and I was depressed. I was very, very depressed. Um, it's 2018. I can walk again. I've lost a lot of weight. And I've really learned that I can fight. Just because you were diagnosed with MS, again, it doesn't mean that it's going to kill you. Um, it sucks not knowing. It sucks not knowing from one day to the next. Um, I'll make another video. I'll probably make several other videos talking about that. Again, I just wanted to share my story. Thank you for watching.